time we have our virtual school in Chernivtsi Oblast. It was the initiative of the Department of Education to have such things to develop your competencies, dear friends. I mean friends, teachers, both teachers and students, because it's rather important to participate in such virtual things we are starting this year in English. The topic for today is developing vocabulary plus developing speaking skills. And the presenter today is Natalia Mikhailivna Kuvila. She is the teacher of the year of the first stage in her Kelbinsi rayon last year, and she participated in the second stage of this competition, the teacher of the year last year. And the topic is really very interesting. I wish you to write comments. I wish you, and I ask you to ask questions about this topic. Do you remember the topic? Developing speaking, developing vocabulary. Natalia Mikhailivna has interesting books and she will present you today. Please, Natalia.
Thank you. Good morning, dear colleagues and students. Let me introduce myself. My name is Natalia Kuvila. I am an English teacher at School of Ivanice, Kelbinsi region. Today we will have a session on lexical exercises for forming speaking skills and abilities. I want to start my presentation from the words which became my motto. The limits of my language are the limits of my mind. All I know is what I have words for. Many students are frustrated because they don't have a vocabulary big enough to express their mature thoughts and ideas. So, how can you increase your vocabulary to better communicate what you want to say? Well, the answer to this is not so simple, but there are some things that can help you better understand what is needed. The first one is understand word frequency. Have you ever thought about how many words English speakers actually use compared to the number of words in the English dictionary? If you haven't, you might be surprised to know that by learning only 3,000 words, you can likely to understand 98% of spoken English. So, you don't need to know all 172,000 words in the Oxford Dictionary. You should focus on learning only the most frequent words to improve your chances of communicating efficiently. The next one is enrich the words you already know. You already know so many words, so make sure you use this knowledge to improve your vocabulary by understanding how words can change. For example, perhaps you already know the words happy, but have you ever used the words unhappy, happiness, or happily? By knowing how to change this one word, you can suddenly use 3 more very easily. So, make sure you experiment with changing words and take risks when you are speaking. Don't worry too much about making mistakes and try to identify new opportunities to use words. The next one is start to listen to how English sounds. The pronunciation of English is very different to many other languages. And it is important to use stress and intonation well. But how can you do this? A fantastic way to improve your pronunciation is imitation. First, you need to find a short clip on YouTube that demonstrates natural use of communicative English. The clip should be no more than 1 minute long, and you can turn on English subtitles if it helps. Then listen to the clip as many times as necessary, paying careful attention to the way the language sounds. After you have developed the good ear for the dialogue, try to play the clip and speak at the same time as the speaker in the video. Try to speak at the same speed as the speaker using similar intonation and stress. You will probably have to stop and restart the video many times before you can imitate it accurately. If you practice this for just 10 minutes per day, using different clips of course, you will be surprised at how your pronunciation will improve. Of course, you can use different songs and video. For example, you see an example of famous song, and instead of the words you can see different pictures. And useful, very useful, it's videos. And now I want to present you a video resource. A video resource about different methods. So please. It is very useful because it consists of 4 parts. You see the different parts. Part 1. Listen carefully to the following movie clip.
They caught you on tape and you still got away with it? Whoa! You must have been booking. How fast do you think you were going?
We are not encouraging this.
I'm not encouraging. I'm just asking how fast.
Honey!
Part 2. Listen again with subtitles to help.
Do you have to leave the table?
Yeah.
Smaller bites, Dash. Nice. Could you help the cardboard come to meet? Go to the office again.
Good.
No, Bob, that's bad.
What?
Dash got sent to the office again.
What? What for?
Nothing. Put a tack on the teacher's chair. You're in class. Really, Sonny? Barely see on the tape.
They caught you on tape and you still got away with it? Whoa! You must have been booking. How fast do you think you were going?
We are not encouraging this.
I'm not encouraging. I'm just asking how fast.
Honey!
Part 3. Pause the video to write down the definition of the following key words. And part 4. Test yourself.
Do you have to leave the table?
Yeah.
Smaller bites, Dash. Nice. Could you help the cardboard come to meet? Dash, you have something you want to tell your father about school?
Well, we expected a frog.
Dash got sent to the office again.
Good. Good.
No, Bob, that's bad.
What?
Dash got sent to the office again.
What? What for?
Nothing. Put a tack on the teacher's chair. You're in class.
Really, Sonny? Barely see on the tape.
They caught you on tape and you still got away with it? Whoa! You must have been booking. How fast do you think you were going?
We are not encouraging this.
I'm not encouraging. I'm just asking how fast.
Honey!
The next slide is with some tips to help you remember vocabulary. Keep an organized vocabulary notebook. Look at the words again after 24 hours, after 1 week, and after 1 month. Read, read, read. The more times you see a word, the more easily you will remember it. Use the new words. You need to use a new word about 10 times before you remember it. Do word puzzles and games like crosswords, anagrams, and word searches. The next one. Make word cards and take them with you. Read them on the bus or when you are waiting for your friends. Learn words with a friend. It can be more fun and easier to learn with someone else. Learn how to use a dictionary. And learn a few words, but not too many. About 8 new words a day is a good number. Except the helpful tips, I would like to show you and to recommend you a set for English. It's called Activate, Games for Learning American English. It consists of the book for the teacher's manual, where you can find a lot of different different activities, different exercises, and different materials for photocopying. Also, you can find different cards with words and with different pictures. They are very useful for expanding your vocabulary. At the other side, you can find a lot of questions for developing your speaking. And one more, it's board games. There are a lot of board games. They are very interesting, very colorful, and very useful for expanding vocabulary. So I recommend you. Are you still looking for a fun few ideas that will help you increase your speaking vocabulary? Well, here are some motivational exercises or activities to help to expand your vocabulary. The first one is inventive terminology. This creative vocabulary activity is perfect for morning sit work. Each morning, write one word on the sentences, write one sentence from the word, and underline one word that is maybe not know the meaning of children. For example, the old man was wearing a great fedora. For example, the students would have to figure out that fedora meant hat. Challenge the students to read the sentence and try to figure out the meaning of the underlined word fedora. Their task is to write the meaning and draw a correlating picture. The next one is favorite activity of my students. It's called the Discovery Box. This daily activity will be sure to increase the students' vocabulary in no time. For each student, create a blank book. You can easily do this by stapling 26 blank pages between two colorful cardstock. Instruct students to label each page in their booklets in alphabetical order. A few times a week, students have searched at home for a new or interesting word. They have to cut this word out, for example, from the old magazine, old newspaper, or from different books, or a cereal box, for example, and glue it into the index card. Then the following day, students bring in their cards and place it into the discovery box. Each day a new word and their meaning is discovered. Once students learn the meaning of the word, they can write it down in their vocabulary book. Continue this process throughout the school year. Also, I want to recommend you a useful website. British Council, Learn English Teens. You see a lot of different sections on this website. And the section Grammar and Vocabulary. These sections give you a lot of advices and ideas on how you can learn new words. When you are learning new words, it's really important to keep learning new words to improve your vocabulary. When you learn new words, you need to try and use them as soon as you can, so they will become part of your active vocabulary. We need to see a word at least 5 times before we can use it correctly. There are lots of opportunities on this website to learn new words, and by writing comments on this site, you can put your new vocabulary into practice. It's very important to keep a record of new words as you learn them. There are many ways to do this, and the section Recording Vocabulary will give you ideas how you can do this. Different ideas will work for different people. So, try some of them out and see which ones work for you. Also, you can see different words grouped by different topics. For example, bathroom, clothes, room, and so on. And the next slide is about different word cards. So, the first task, word cards. Word cards are small cards to help you remember the words. Making a set of word cards is an easy way to revise vocabulary. Follow these steps, please, to make word cards. On one side, you can write down the words the word stress and pronunciation, and the type of word, example, noun, verb, etc. On the other side, you can write a definition or a sentence with the word in. You could also write translation or draw a picture. Take the cards with you in your bag. When you have 5 minutes, for example on a bus, look at the word and try to remember the definition. Look at the other side of the card and check. Or you could read the definition and try to remember the word. If writing words on pieces of paper isn't for you, keep a word list on your computer or mobile phone. There are a lot of mobile applications available to help you improve your vocabulary. The next one is mind maps. Mind maps help you remember because they are very visual. You can use mind maps for groups of words that are connected. Write the main word in a circle, like for example, fruit. Draw lines out. At the end of the lines, write down the words. Example, you can group them by different colors, yellow, red, orange, and others. Also, you can write down the proverb with this word. And also you can write different adjectives, for example, on appearance or on taste. The next one is tables. Tables are great for organizing words into groups. The examples above show a table organized by topic, and one for opposites and one for adjectives. There are many different types of tests to see how much vocabulary a learner knows, from matching words to pictures to completing gaps. The section vocabulary exercise types will introduce you to the main types of vocabulary tests and will give you advice and practice exercises so you will get top marks in your next test. You can make completed gaps, match the words and the pictures, match the words with the definitions, choose the correct word, categorize, odd one out, word building, words that go together. I want to pay your attention to a useful book, Test Your Vocabulary, published by Pearson Education Limited. It is a series of 5 best-selling books. This fully revised and updated edition features 60 varied and enjoyable vocabulary tests, covering the most important words and phrases. It's ideal for self-study and classroom use. You see the examples of the exercises. The first one, synonyms, adjectives. You have to find different synonyms in the box and write down into the different sentences. Also, you see the task with quantities. You have to write down under the pictures different phrases. For example, grapes, a bunch of grapes, beer, craft of beer, or writing paper, a pack of writing paper. The next slide is about vocabulary wheel. Sometimes it's hard to explain exactly how you feel. This handy vocabulary wheel helps you narrow down exactly what word best expresses your current emotional state. Whether you're writing or talking about a character, another person, or yourself, it can be easy to use the same words over and over. This wheel diagram helps you find the right word for the right feeling, from the inside out. Start out with a basic emotion and then move outwards until you have the best synonym. The wheel itself isn't exactly groundbreaking in the world of vocabulary, but it's a nice reference for those that have a hard time being specific about how they or others feel. What about books? Of course you need them for good preparation for your exam. I think that the best one is London Exam Activator. This is a very useful book for your exams. It includes a set of exercises and typical exam tasks which can help you, my dear students, put the vocabulary and exam tips into practice. Every unit includes a word bank. A list of vocabulary phrases with phonetic transcription, which can be a very useful revision tool before the exam. Also, I want to recommend you the books New Opportunities. It's Pearson Longman. At the end of this book, you can find a mini dictionary with a lot of words, and they have an explanation into English language. And another book, also very useful, it's Language to Go. And at this book you can find phrase book. In this phrase book you can find essential phrases for use in real-life situation, checklist of useful vocabulary items, signs and abbreviations, how to write letters and emails, irregular verbs, British and American English word list. Also, you have to use different dictionaries, and my recommendation is Webster's Dictionary Essential Meaning. There are a lot of useful words, and you also can find different pictures grouped by the different topics. For example, the body, car, the colors, the classroom, clothes, and so on. At the end of our session, I also would like to recommend you a very useful website. I hope they will be very useful for you, my dear students. Please remember them. Feel free to follow up with your questions on my blog. You see the address of my blog. And thank you for your attention.